So started. I'm going to remove this SQL Server from my system. Let's see how we
Okay,
can
sir.
remove. Just go to the control panel, and there we have SQL Server 2014. Right click and say uninstall or change. It's already started this window, and just say remove. I have a need to remove this SQL Server instance because these are already expired in my system. I'm using evaluation edition. That's why it is expired actually. So now, yeah, I think that this uninstallation will be in progress, and we can start our session. So now here, last session we discussed the functions. I mean, you can go through that notes. I hope you are not there in the last session, but that's fine. All the notes are there. You can go through that notes, and if you have any questions, so we can discuss on it. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
now, yeah, now we can going to start these subqueries. I'm going to keep in the mute. So now here, so what is a subquery? Subqueries means query means it's nothing but SQL statement. Subquery means the query inside another SQL query. That is what we are going to refer as a subquery. Why we need to write a subquery first of all? That is very important to understand. What is the necessity to write subquery? And where we can write subquery, how we can write subqueries, what are the different ways of specifying the subquery. So we are going to see that one today in detail. So this is fine. Here it is. Let me remove this minus one. I think I can do this later. So let me keep this one aside for now because system is showing a little bit slow. Okay, so now here the subquery. Subquery represents a query inside another SQL query. How do we specify, sir? One query inside another SQL query. Where we can specify, how we can specify, all that we can see now. So now here the requirement is write a query to display the employees whose salary is greater than 5,000. Whose salary is greater than 5,000. So how do we write this SQL query? It's a direct SQL query. See that take the data from employee table where salary greater than 5,000. So now here, this condition, you see that whenever we execute this SQL query, it is going to produce the same criteria of the results. Same criteria of the results means same criteria. So same criteria of the result means it's always produce the records whose salaries are greater than 5,000. That is what same criteria. Salary is greater than 5,000. So for suppose if I execute this SQL query today, it will produce all the employees whose salaries are greater than 5,000. If I execute after 10 days, after 6 months, it is going to produce the same criteria of the results. That means whose salaries are greater than 5,000 only. But the number of records may vary. Today I see only 10 people. Maybe tomorrow I can see 15 people. Maybe after 6 months I can see 20 people, like that. Number of records may vary because some more people are joining in that company. Their salaries are greater than 5,000. So whenever we are executing this SQL query, we may see the number of records are different, but the criteria is same. Here the criteria represents the conditions. What the conditions, what records we are reading based on which conditions. The conditions are same. Maybe record count may be different. The conditions are same. That's why we are going to say it is going to produce such same criteria of the records. Okay. And for suppose later I want to see that the salaries whose salary is greater than 10,000, whose salaries are greater than 10,000. So this query will not work, guys. This query will not work. We have to modify this query now. So see this here. Here the problem is, sir, today I am going to see whose salaries are greater than 5,000. We written on SQL query. And I changed my decision. I want to see whose salaries are greater than 10,000. Then we need to modify this SQL query because this is a condition we written here greater than 5,000. The value 5,000 we directly specified in the condition. That's why we have to modify this SQL query. If there is any change in these static values, we have to modify the SQL query. This is not accepted. This is not the right way to write the SQL query. Because when you are going to see body of the statement is same, but only value is different, right? So now here when you, so this time I want to see employees every time whose salaries are greater than 20,000. Again I need to modify this value. We are modifying this value means we are modifying the SQL query. So we can call this a condition as a static conditions. These conditions we are going to segregate as a static conditions. Okay, and a similar way, so how do we rectify this problem, sir? How can I make this SQL query is a somewhat like dynamic? It can take any value. You give me the value, I will give you the salary greater than that value. That's it. You give me whatever value you want to provide, you can give me. I can provide you the employees whose salaries are greater than that value. How do we write that SQL query? That's where we are having the variables. We have used variables a lot in this previous sessions when we are using that functions. Similar way, I'm going to declare one variable that is int data type, and this is a salary variable. In the salary variable, I'm going to store the value 10,000 because I want to see all the people whose salaries are greater than 10,000. Here, this is what my SQL query. See, the variables are expected to store different values during the execution of the program. So I don't care. So I can put any value, whatever I want put, I can put that value in this variable because this is expected to change actually. This is expected. But this is what actual SQL query. In this actual SQL query, I'm not going to do any modifications. I just mentioned here salary greater than at the rate salary variable. Inside this variable, what value is there? 10,000 is there. But here you see these guys, these three lines, 21, 22, 23. These three lines, we are not going to change anyway. We are not going to change this. Only the value in this salary variable I can change. For suppose now I want to see the employees whose salaries are greater than 10,000. So I'm going to put value 10,000 in the salary variable. I'm not changing anything in this SQL query, guys. Let me connect it to our database. I'm not going to do any changes to my SQL query, these three lines. Let's say this time greater than 10,000 and this time I want to see 20,000. See that I'm just changing the value inside the variable, but I'm not doing any changes to my SQL query. So in this case, we make this condition as a dynamic condition. You see this? This is we can pass the values to these conditions dynamically by using the variables. So this is what the right SQL query. This is the right way of writing the SQL query. And this is all just to verify the data right away. Who are having a greater than 10,000, you can write this SQL query and you can pull the data. But this is not the right way to define the conditions inside programs. Inside programs, always we are going to pass the values to these SQL queries by using the variables. Okay. So whatever that variables are there, and that variables are going to have the values which we need to pass to the conditions. So this is what here it is, guys. And now we are going to see the same thing. Write a SQL query, write a query to display the employees who are having max salaries, who is having maximum salaries. So write a query to display the employees who are having max salaries. So how do we do this, guys? Who are having max salaries? How do we represent this? So now usually you see this, guys. This is what the SQL query, which will give the max salary in the employee table. In the employee table, what is the max salary? Let's find that 25,000 is the max salary. So what I'm going to do that, I will store this value, whatever it is returning from this SQL query, I'm going to store that value in one variable. You see this, guys, how I'm storing. I declared the variable max salary, which is integer data type, and store that max salary inside that variable. We are going to store the result of one SQL query like this, because this is going to give the max salary, guys. This is giving a max salary in that employee table. Right now, what is the max salary in this employee table? 25,000. That 25,000 is stored in this variable. And we are going to use this variable in our SQL query. See that where e-sal equal to max at the rate max salary. So if I execute this one, it will give all the employees who is having max salaries. You see this, guys, only one person is there. So for suppose this is okay, fine, max salary. And tomorrow one person is joined, his salary is 30,000. Then if we execute same query on tomorrow, that record will come. See now here, guys, we are not specifying a value directly here. What we are storing in the variable, we are storing the result of one SQL query. the result of one SQL query, and this result may vary. Today it is giving 25,000. This result, guys, this SQL query is giving 25,000. Maybe tomorrow this SQL query can give 30,000. Maybe if a new employee is joined with the salary 30,000, maybe after some time this query may give different result, different value. What is that value? Max salary in the employee table. And same that max salary, whoever is having that same max salary, whoever the salary is equal to that max salary, display those people. That's it. So now this is the same whole SQL, this whole program I'm going to write. I'm going to simplify like this. Sir, why you declare the variable and then you are storing in that variable the result of one SQL query, and we are using this variable inside a where class. So instead of doing all this, I'm going to remove this variable, and I will copy this SQL statement, and I will put this SQL statement directly over here. Let's see this, guys. See that now. So instead of doing all this, so what I'm doing now, simply instead of doing all this, I can directly copy this SQL query and put it over here in this inside this where class. That's what I did here. So now here select star from employee table where ESAL is equal to some result of one SQL query, where ESAL equal to this result. This result is giving right now 25,000. So now let's go ahead and take all the employees whose salary is equal to 25,000. That is what here it is, guys. Okay. So now in this case, this is what on a small SQL query inside actual SQL query. Yes or no, guys? Yes. So now here in this case, why you return this SQL query inside this where class? Sir, I don't know what is the max salary in employee table right now. I don't know. Okay, let's say this is a 25,000. If I give 25,000 here, is this the right way of representing max salary? No, that is not right way, because that 25,000 may change it later. Max salary may change. Maybe tomorrow one new employee can join with the salary 30,000. In that case, the max salary is 30,000. So that's what here it is. Okay, this is fine. Okay, this is fine again now. So that's why we directly return subquery, one SQL query inside where class of another SQL query. And you see this part, up to this part we are going to calling as outer query, and this part we can call inside that where class we return one SQL query. This part we are going to calling as subquery. Here the question again, why you return subquery inside where class? This is one subquery inside where class, and this subquery is going to return one a single value. See, anytime guys, if you see this is a subquery, whenever you execute this subquery will return only one value. Or else, if you don't have any records in employee table, it will not return any value. It doesn't matter, guys, if you have 1 million records, 10 million records, any value are there, it always gives single value as the output. How many records are there in employee table? It doesn't matter. It always give one value. That value we are going to calling as a scalar value. We are going to see all that, guys. Okay, so now see here, why you return? Again, the same question. Why you return this SQL query as a subquery inside where class? Because I am going to produce the dynamic value to my conditions. See that in this condition, I don't know what value it will take right now. Right now, what is that max salary? Take it. That's it. I'm just passing some dynamic value instead of saying like this, guys. Instead of saying like this, what I'm doing, guys, I'm going to pass a dynamic value to the SQL query. Go ahead and take whatever is the max salary. Take that max salary right now. Okay, so this is what it is showing up. Okay, so I think here I written one update statement. Let me execute this update statement. Yeah, I think there are two people are there with the max salary 25,000, but it's still written only one. See now, two people are there right now. It is going to give all the people whoever is having max salaries. So this is fine. So this is the same SQL query, guys. Same thing we can execute. And here, how this SQL query will execute? What is the QLP sir for this? See now, this is whole line together. We are going to say one SQL query, guys. This is whole line together. We are going to say one SQL query. So in this SQL query, What is the QLP? Query logical processing. That's what we are going to understand. Okay. So now here first, which one will start, guys? So this is just assume this is all together is a one class. This is all. This is a subquery is part of where class. This is a subquery will execute during execution of this where class. So which one will process first? First this outer query from class, and then outer query where class. As part of outer query where class, again subquery from class and subquery select class will process. Once this is done, once this where class is completely done, then this outer query select class will start again. So that's what here I written, guys. Outer query from class and outer query where class. During the outer query where class, the subquery from class will start and then subquery select class. And then after finishing off this whole stuff, after finishing of this where class, and then only that's outer select query will execute. Outer select class will process. This is what, guys, the QLP for this SQL query. Okay. So now here I have one question. You tell me which query is started execution first, guys, outer query or subquery? Which query is started its execution first? Outer query is started its execution first. Which query is completed its execution first? Subquery or outer query? Which query is completed its execution? Completed its execution first. Subquery is completed its execution first. This is some kind of statement, guys. Important statement here. The outer query execution starts first, and then the execution of subquery will be started. The subquery execution will be completed first. First, the subquery will be completed. Execution of whole subquery will be completed first as part of where class, and then after the outer query select class will complete it. And then the execution of outer query is completed. See that subquery is executing, it's completing its execution first. It is going to finish its execution first. Okay, this is some statements, guys. This is very important statements. Okay. So by writing the subqueries, we can generate the dynamic values for the conditions in a where class. Why we are writing the subqueries, guys? We can generate the dynamic values for the conditions in a where class. That's why we are writing subqueries. So the below query will always return only one value. That is what we are going to call it as a scalar output. This query will always give only one value, guys. It is not going to produce two values, three values, not like that. Only one value. Anytime you execute this subquery, it will give only one value. That value we are going to calling as a scalar output. Scalar output is nothing but a single value. And again, we are going to talk about these scalar outputs as part of the functions. So the below queries are having scope to return multi-valued output. Multi-valued means single column with the multiple values. You see that I'm going to display all the departments whose location is IND. Maybe one department or more than one department will be available, right? In one location. You see that now? See that IND, it is giving a two single column with the two values, guys. Then we can say this is a scalar output. Not sorry, this is multi-valued output. Single column with the multiple values. So now let's see here Victor, whose HOD is Victor. He's only one department. Guys, you see this. Right now, this Victor is a HOD for one department. Maybe later, the Victor will be HOD for one more department also. Yeah, we don't know, right? Yeah, he may be HOD for two departments or three departments. Then in that case, it will return two or three department IDs. Scope is there. Scope is there, sir. Yes. Then we can say this is a multi-valued output query. This query is going to return multi-valued output. So now let's see here. Scott is the HOD for two departments, 1004 and 1008. So these queries we are going to consider as multi-valued output queries, because even though this second query is not returning multiple values, sir, this is returning only single column, single value. Can we say this is a scalar output? No, sir. I mean, right now we can say this is a scalar output, but there is no guarantee this query will always return scalar output. There is no guarantee, guys. There is no guarantee. This query will return always a scalar output. Maybe after 1 month or after 2 months or after 6 months or after 1 year, Victor will become HOD for one more department. Right now he is the HOD of 1002 department. Maybe he will take care of, I mean, other department also. Like just like this. Scott is HOD for two departments now. Okay, just like Scott, Victor is also maybe become HOD for other. Scope is there, sir. So now when the scope is there, then we are not going to say This query will return scalar output. This query will return multi-valued output. And we have other type of output, table valued output. A query can return these are three types of outputs, guys: scalar output, multi-valued output, and a table valued output. Table valued output means the query is going to return more than one column with a zero or one or more than one record. Zero records also no problem, but it is going to return more than one column. Then we can say that is a table valued output. More than one column, zero or one or more than one records. Okay, that's what we are going to calling as a table valued output. Okay. So now here, guys, we are whatever the subquery we are going to specify over here, the subquery has the capability of returning three types of outputs. A subquery can return three types of outputs. One is a scalar, multi-valued, and a table valued. Right now, this is a subquery. Whatever subquery we mentioned here, this will never and ever return multi-valued, and this never return table valued. It always returns scalar output only. Okay. So now, similar to that, we will be having three types of output, guys. A subquery can return three types of outputs in a where class and a from class also. So we'll see that how to specify subquery in a from class later. But right now we are discussing subquery in a where class. So the where class, the subquery in a where class can return single value. That is what? Scalar output. If the subquery is returning scalar value, then we have to use these following conditions. These are the operators we are going to use it. Comparison operators like equal, less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal, not equal, all that operations. Or else we can use in predicate. Or else we can use exist or not exist keywords. Where we are going to use these operators, guys. So here it is over here. You see that now here. We are specifying here comparison operators, or else we can put in operator here, or else we can put exist or not exist operators here. When that subquery is written as scalar output, we can put any of those type of operations here. So those are all valid. When the subquery is returning, for suppose this is subquery is returning multi-valued data, then these equal operators, greater than, less than, those will not work. Comparison operators will not work. We have to specify in predicate, or else we have to specify exist or not exist keywords. So when we have to specify all that, we'll discuss one by one, guys. We have that requirements, and we'll see that requirements by using these different types of outputs. Multi-valued output means a single column with more than one value. That is what multi-valued output. Okay. So now here, if the subquery is returning multi-valued output, then we can use these following operators. What are those operators in the condition? In predicate, exist or not exist. These are only the two things we can use it. In case the subquery is returning multi-valued output. Table valued output means the subquery is returning more than one column. That's what we are going to consider as a table valued output. In that case, we have to use exist or not exist keywords. And this one will come later, guys, and we'll discuss later. So now we are going to write some requirements. Write a query to display the employees details whose department location is in India. Guys, here when I'm going to write the subquery, you see this, guys, here. Write a query to display the employees details whose department location is IND. See now here the condition is on a different. See here just read this one more time, guys. Write a query to display the employees. I want to display the employees details whose department location is IND based on the condition on another table. So here in this case we can write joins also. But when we write the joins, always I will prefer to write the joins when there is a need to display the columns from more than one table. Then we have to definitely should go for joins. But here I don't have the requirement to display the columns from different tables. So I'm going to display only the employee details. That means all columns from employee table only. But only the thing is here, condition is on a different table. What is that condition? Condition is a department location is IND. So now first which records, guys? So now I'm going to display some employees from the departments whose department's location is IND. So now here we need to get the data from employees table based on the condition on our DEPT table. So if we can use the subquery, we need to pass the dynamic values to the conditions in a where clause. See now here guys, it's a very simple. Let's take which data you want to display from a DEPT table, from departments table, where that location of our department table location is equal to IND. So these are the departments, guys. So how many departments are there in a India location? Maybe one or more than one, it is possible. Maybe one department or more than one department, it is possible. So now here, what I'm going to do that, I'm going to take only department IDs. I don't need other columns. I need only one column, that is a DID column. What is these two departments? Bench and facility. Bench and facility departments. So these are the two departments I have. And I want to see all the employees who are from these two departments. See these guys. So now this is what my two departments, and I want to display all the employees from these two departments. How do you display all the employees? Take the data from employee table, where which employees, where whose DEPT ID is equal to this subquery, is equal to this subquery. That means whoever the department ID is equal to, this subquery is returning some departments equal to those departments. But here this query is wrong, guys, anyway, because I am going to talk about that, why it is wrong. You see that now here this subquery is going to return more than one value, that is multi-valued output. In that case, we should not write equal operator. We have to write in predicate, just like this in predicate. Okay. So now here, otherwise it will throw the error, guys. This query will throw the error. What error it will throw? So now here we return that error. See that what it is saying, if we execute this one, this is subquery is returning multi-valued data, but we are using equal operator. Its equal operator will not support when the subquery is returning multi-valued data. We have to use in predicate here. So now let me execute this in. See that it is displaying only 3 employees are there from 1003 department, but 1004 there is no employees. I mean, whatever the departments it is written, let me see what departments it is looking for. 1006. There is no employees from this department 1006. Only there are 3 employees from 1003. That's why those 3 employees are displayed. If we have any employees in 1006, those employees also will display now here. So this is very in predicate, guys, because this subquery is returning multi values. If I use equal will not support, guys. So now let's execute. It is going to throw the error message. Subquery return more than one value. So this is not permitted when subqueries follows these comparison operators. If you specify this operator, then subquery should not return more than one value. That's what here, guys. If subquery is returning more than one value, means we should not use any comparison operators. We have to use in a predicate. That's why we got this same error message, and same thing I written the note. Okay, guys. So now that's why we are using in a predicate here. And a similar way, write a query to display the employees whose department name is HManage. Guys, here I'm going to write this one in a different way. Write a query to display the employees whose department name is HManage. I want to display all the employees, whoever the department name is HManage. So now here department name, just to take that variable, in that variable I specified department name is HManage. So now here I'm going to take the department ID whose department name is equal to HManage. Take that department ID and take the employees whose department ID is equal to that department ID. So in this case, guys, this is going to return only one value, right? Because in a bench department will be, when I say department name is equal to bench, I'm looking for one department which department name is bench. There will be only one department with the name bench, and it will return that department ID. So in this case, this query is going to produce a scalar output, guys, all the time. Right? So, sir, how you are saying this is going to produce all the time a scalar output? Because I'm looking for the department ID whose department name is bench. There is always one department with the name bench. There are no 2 departments with the same name bench. Because if you can remember, already I given you the homework to create unique key constraint on the department name, guys. If you remember that, Let's go back to that homework file, primary key and foreign key constraints. That means when we are going to create unique key constraints on the department name, this green color represents unique key. That means the same department I can't store it here, guys. One more record with the same department name bench, it will not take because we already created department name as a unique key. That means that there is not possible, there is no possibility that the department table will have one more department name with the same name. No, there is no possibility for that, guys. That's why we are saying, I'm confidently saying, when we are looking for that ID, department ID of your department, so let's say bench department, then there is only one department with the name bench. Then it will give only one ID. Whatever the ID belongs to that bench, it will give only one ID. So that's why we are saying this is going to be written scalar output all the time. It doesn't matter whatever the department name it is. It is always give single value. In that case, we can use either in operator. In operator is work. Even though it is written in scalar output, we can still use in. Or else we can use equal operator right now. Yeah, this is same query. We can use equal operator also. So this is what it is. Let's execute this one. I need to execute all these from the declaration onwards. So let's execute these two SQL queries and see it is going to give same results. See that both are giving the same results. Okay, so this is fine. This is what here it is, guys. This is what the introduction of the subqueries, guys. And let's move on. This is a different types of subqueries. Yeah. Okay, guys. So same thing here. Nothing, no change here. Same thing. We are going to see that. So write a query to display the employees who are containing maximum salaries. Who are going to contain the max salaries. Here I declared the one variable high salary and its data type is integer data type. And a set high salary is equal to. So this is what subquery, guys, and this query is going to return the maximum salary from the employee table. So now the maximum salary is 25,000. So we are going to take that. So same query, guys. So we are going to display all the people whose salaries are 25,000. And the same query we return like this, right? This is a repetition, same thing. And write a query to display the employees whose salary is equal to average salary of all the employees. See this, guys. This is what the requirement here. And write a query to display the employees. Whose salary is equal to AVG salary of all the employees. Okay. So now here, let's take first average salary in employee table. Whoever the salaries, I want display employees, whoever the salaries are equal to average salary in employee table. First calculate what is the average salary from employee table. 10,235 rupees is the average salary. So now I'm going to store that value in one separate variable ABG salary, and we are going to use that salary variable in the SQL query. It is going to produce all the employees whoever's salaries are equal to that average salary. But nobody is there with that salary exactly equal to that average salary. That's why it is not showing any records. So now same SQL query, we can directly specify like this here. Instead of doing all that, this is what we discussed already now. So write a SQL query to display the employees whose salaries are less than that average salary of all the employees. This time I'm saying instead of equal, less than that salary, less than that average salary. So same thing. So store that average salary variable, salary value in a separate variable, and we are going to say less than that average salary. This is go see, this is all the people salaries are less than average salary. Or else we can write directly like this, because this subquery is always written single value, guys, scalar output. That's why we are using this comparison operator. So there are two types of subqueries are there, guys. Don't say that three types of subqueries. Don't say that scalar output subquery, multi-valued output subquery, table valued output subquery. Don't say that. Those are not types of subqueries. Those are the different types of outputs producing by a subquery. But here we are having two types of subqueries. And what are those? And we'll talk about correlated subqueries in our tomorrow session, guys. More about that correlated subquery, not today. I will talk in detail about the correlated subquery. So for today, we are going to see non-correlated subqueries. So there are two types of subqueries are there. One is a non-correlated subquery. That's what we are going to calling as a self-contained subquery, or else non-correlated subquery. And second one is correlated subquery. So what is these two different types? So the non-correlated subquery, the subquery is not depend on the outer query values. That means here you see, this is my subquery. Is this a subquery is a depending on the values from this SQL query? That means this output, the output of this subquery is having any dependency on the output of this outer query results? No, there is no dependency. Guys, this is the result of the subquery is not depending on the values on the output of my outer query. So then we can say this is non-correlated subquery. Correlated subquery means the subqueries are depending on the values, the output of this subquery. The output of this subquery is depending on the values from outer query. That is what correlated subquery. That subquery we are going to calling as correlated subquery. Non-correlated means these subqueries are not depending on the values from outer query. So those subqueries we are going to calling as non-correlated subquery. How do you say, sir, in this case? How do we say, sir, a subquery is depending on the outer query results or not? Because it's very simple. Select that, just select that subquery and execute it. If you are able to execute only that particular subquery, then that subquery is not depending on the outer query results. It is independent. You can execute independently. So this is not depending on the result from outer query. In this case, we are going to say this is non-correlated subquery or self-contained subquery. Guys, you see that this is all the SQL queries. In these SQL queries, these subqueries are non-correlated subqueries because this is only this part of subqueries can execute. See that all these subqueries will execute without having any dependency on the outer query results. So this type of subqueries we are going to calling as non-correlated or self-contained subqueries. See this, guys. Correlated subquery means the subqueries depends on the values from outer query. That's what correlated subquery. And write a query to display the highest salaried employees from each department. From each department, take the highest salaried employee. In this case, we have to write self-contained subquery, guys. So now here, take the data from employee table, which records, whichever the employees are having highest salary in their corresponding department, then only take that record. Let's see here. I'm going to explain this logic, guys, here. Let's see here. And this is what my result. This is what the employees, all the employees. And here, this is all the employees. And let's say whether this guy is having in the department 1002, is he having the highest salary? First, I need to verify in this particular department 1002, what is the highest salary? Some value is there. Let's say 5,000 is the highest salary. Is that 5,000 is equal to this salary in this record? No, this is not equal. Then don't take this record. In the same 1002, 5,000 is the highest salary. Is this guy is equal to that highest 5,000 salary? No. Then don't take this record. See now here what I'm doing, guys, I need to verify first what is the maximum salary in this particular department. In this particular department 1003, what is the maximum salary? So now here these are the records are coming from outer query. You see these guys from this from class is returning these records, and this whole where class is going to apply on this first record, second record, third record, and fourth record, and each and every record. Go to the first record and verify. The condition should be formed like this, guys. In the first record, the salary should be is equal to the salary. What is that salary? 2,000. 2,000 should be equal to the maximum salary in its department. So now the subquery is required. The subquery should calculate the maximum salary in this department 1002. So what I'm going to do that now here in this case, I'm going to give this department ID 1002 to this subquery. I'm going to giving in this first record, what is the department ID 1002. I'm going to giving this 1002 to my subquery and calculate in this 1002 what is the max salary. Calculate that, guys. Calculate it. What is the max salary? Is that max salary is equal to the current salary in that current record? If that is true, then say this record is passed that condition. Because this record, whatever salary is there, if it is this salary is equal to the max salary in this department 1002, then only take this record. Otherwise, don't take this record. That's what the logic we are going to specify here. And now here, so now here, this is what the SQL query, guys, and it is going to return the max salary from employee table as EMP2. I given the alias name, where EMP2.deptid is equal to EMP1. This is what EMP1. So take the value from outer. See now here, in this case, this is a subquery is taking the value from what value it is taking? DEPTID value it is taking from EMP1 table. EMP1 is outer query, outer table, outer query table. So this is a subquery is reading department IDs from outer query and calculating in that department what is the max salary. How it is calculating like this. Whoever that employee in employee table, whoever department ID is equal to that department ID, take that max salary for that department. And if that max salary in this department 1002, the max salary is something is there. If that something is equal to this 2000, then take this record as a pass out the condition. So let's execute this SQL query, guys. See that now in this 1002, there are two people are there with the highest salary. 1003, this is the highest salary. 1004, this is the highest salary. 1008, this is the highest salaried employee. Each department it is displaying highest salaried employees, guys. Okay, this is what correlated subquery. And we are going to write more and more correlated subqueries in the next session, that is on tomorrow's session, guys. Okay. And this is what the subqueries, and we are there is so many things are there, guys, as part of subqueries. We'll discuss all that one by one. Okay. Yes, guys, there are so many things are there as part of subqueries. Subqueries are not yet completed. And how these subqueries will execute? How these subqueries will execute? See, when it comes to the execution phase, guys, this is all what we are already aware of that, and this is what the subquery, and take the data from table, employee table. This is sample data and where class. When where class will come, guys, you see that now where salary is equal to where class will go to for each and every record here. Go to each and every record and apply that condition. What is that condition here? Salary is equal to, that is salary from first record is equal to this max salary. So now it is going to execute this query. Max salary is 20,600. This one is equal to this one. This is a false. This condition is false, guys. 4950 equal to 20,600. This condition is false. Similar way, again for second record, it is going to do the same thing for second record. On third record, fourth record, fifth record, it is going to do the same thing. Whichever records are passed with these conditions, then take those records. This is what the way it is executing, guys. Okay, but okay, I will talk more about this the way of evaluation later. Later sheets are there, guys, and we'll discuss in detail. Okay, and next we have the other one. So this is some practice, guys, some practice of these SQL queries, and this practice we'll see it in the tomorrow session. We have the non-correlated subqueries, and we have the correlated subqueries, and we'll see all these are non-correlated subqueries only, guys. I think we can see that. Write a query to display all the employees whose department location is US. All the employees means from the employee table you have to display based on the condition. Here the department ID in a USA location. In the USA location, how many departments are there? Maybe one or more than one. Two departments are there. So that's why we are using in operator. So this is non-correlated subquery, guys. Okay, this is non-correlated subquery or self-contained subquery. And if I execute this one, it will display all the employees from the department. That department is operating from USA location. So now here this is fine, and I'm going to set something is null. Some department IDs are null. Okay, total 11 records are there. 1002. So write a query to display the name of the employees who gets more salary than the specific employee ID. So now here guys, here the requirement is I have one employee, his ID is 9 and he is getting some salary. How much salary is getting? So now here I declared the variable. While declaring only, I directly stored the value guys. After declaration also, we can say that set at the DID equal to 9. But while declaration only, I am going to assigning some value to this variable. And I want to say this is one employee ID 9 and this employee is getting some salary, right? This employee ID 9, this whoever that employee ID, where employee ID is equal to EID and get their salary. This SQL query is going to get the salary of that employee. So what is that employee salary? Employee fixed salary here is equal to the salary of that employee ID 9. So I'm going to display all the employees, whoever is getting the more salaries than this guy, than this employee ID 9. Employee ID 9, there are some employees. Let's see that with the ID 9, there are some employees with employee ID 9. So let's say this is this guy. And he's getting salary 11,100. 11,100. I want to display all the people, whoever is getting more than this guy's salary. That is what the requirement here. And whichever that employee salary is higher than those that employee salary, want to display that employee ID you can specify here. Okay, and we are going to get what is the salary for that employee, store that salary in one variable, and we are going to see all the employee names, whoever is going to get that salary more than that employee salary. This is what the test will be. These all the people are getting salaries more than that employee. And or else we can write that same query like this directly. Instead of specifying all these, instead of specifying this variable and storing, and we can start writing the subquery like this. This is also self-contained subquery. This is not depending on outer query results. So let's execute this one. So same query guys. So now write a query to display all the details of employees who work in the same department as the employee works in the specific employee ID. Let's see here. That means, so this employee is working in this is one employee ID 15, and I wanted to see in that department that employee 15, employee ID 15 is belongs to one department. There is a null. I wanted to see all the people from the same null. Or else let's say he's okay. I think this null will not work, guys. So now here 9. Let's say the same employee ID 9. This 9 is working in one department 1003. I want to display all the people from the same department. So now what I'm going to do that for this employee ID 9, this guy is belongs to one department ID. Take that department ID, and I'm going to display all the employees from the same department. So let's execute here. So this is all the people are from same department, just like 9. 9 is belongs to which department? 1003. Then display all the people from same department 1003. So this is what guys, we have some practice here, and we have some homework as well on these SQL queries. Let's see this. Sorry, not that one. Yeah, here it is. So let's try to practice this homework, guys. And there's a sub queries. Here it is. This is all the homework. So go ahead and try to write this homework, guys. Similar queries only. There is no much complicated. Similar queries only. I want you to start writing these queries. But these queries are going to be, this homework is going to be included. Maybe previous concept also you have to apply. Okay, it's not only pure subqueries homework, and previous, whatever we discussed previous, now that data, that one also we have to apply here. Okay, so this is what guys, this homework. Please go ahead and try to do this homework. I'm going to upload this homework as well to the Google Drive folder you can access from.